So good afternoon. So next thing, what we are going to see it of Abhina, we are going to see what are all the functions which is performed by programming. So we'll have a robot motion control, and then we'll have a trajectory planning. We'll have obstacle avoidance. We'll have a velocity and accelerations control. We'll have a force and torque control, end effector control, and we'll have a motion coordination with the other components. So these are all the functions which is performed by programming. So next thing, we'll have a robot motion control. So robot motion control வந்து பார்த்தோம் அப்படின்னா when it is actually it is required. We are not interested only in the target points. Okay, so we are in need to. So when it is travel from one point to the another, we are need to follow the path which is preferred by the arm. So this can be controlled by any one of the four types. So that we can go for sequential joint, sliving or uncoordinate joint, joint interpolated, and straight line control. Okay. So we'll have a robot motion which can be controlled by any one of the four things. We'll have a sequential joint control. We'll have a sliving or uncoordinated joint control. We'll have a joint interpolated control, and we'll have a straight line control. So sequential joint control abdina, the joints are moved separately in a prescribed sequence. There is no interaction between the movements. Whereas the case of enslaving all joints வந்து பார்த்தோம் அப்படின்னா at the same time it will be faster, but the path of the end effector வந்து பார்த்தோம் அப்படின்னா it is not controlled and depends on the relative velocity of the individual joint. So அந்த motion பேர் தான் என்ன அப்படின்னு பார்த்தோம்னா sleeve motion. The next thing, joint interpolated control. So ensures that all of the joints வந்து has to be start and finish together. So path வந்து is confined within a small volume, but the motion வந்து is erratic and not suitable for some tasks. So in the motions also known as joint interpolated motion. Straight line control will be slower because of the need to move the arm at the speed limited by the slowest joint. But it is required for tasks such as sliding along a thing. So when we are going for a robot motion control, we'll have a programming languages which often provide separate commands for interpolated joint control and straight line control. So that the faster move which can be used and straight line control is not necessary. The sleeve move and the sequential moves are seldom used over. So when you are going for a trajectory planning, so which deals with the planning of the motion, where it is moving from one position to the another position. So in case of pick and place on the path and point to point path, the path is not so important, but the trajectory planning will be very simple one. But in continuous path, it is typical task to generate the controlled path. So typically, trajectory information from the input to a program is in the form of starting coordinates, so intermediate points and then ending coordinates. So intermediate points will be called as an via. So this are those through which the trajectory which must pass to meet the requirements of the task. So trajectory planning will be classified into two different types of moves. One is continuous path type, another one to be the via type. So trajectory, so we'll have this is the continuous path type. So we'll have a continuously which will be transferring from task to the end task. So we'll be following up the path. So via type அப்படிங்கிறது இது வழியா. So this is going to be the we'll be having of a via type. So continuous path type which commands the causal robot to move through a sequence of locations. We'll have a note on it. So during continuous path motion, the user may select if the motions will be optimized for joint motion or constant velocity. So in joint optimized continuous path, the speed of the robot is determined automatically by optimizing joint speed through the path. Again, in times of constant speed mode, the speed of the robot will remain constant throughout the path overall. So via path type in command will move the arm close to the node, not actually to a series of locations. It will allow the arm to deviate slightly depending on speed and acceleration rates during the motion. Whereas in the case of fire command, the user may select if the motions will be optimized for joint motion or world motion. So in joint optimized via command, the arm moves in the PDF form along the path without stopping at each intermediate point. So in the world optimized via all motions are in straight line form between each location over on it. So example of trajectory planning by simulation I shown over here. So major problem in the control of robot it is an obstacle avoidance. So in order to incorporate obstacle avoidance in its programming, we must either have a model of its environment or some type of sensor information which gives information about its environment.